If by giving up a small pleasure, one may gain a greater joy, the wise gladly abandon the small pleasure for the sake of the greater happiness. The small pleasures before our eyes may feel sweet for a moment, but they often do not last long. A wise person knows how to choose what is greater and more lasting over momentary satisfaction. It is worth reflecting whether we might be losing something truly valuable later. For the comfort of now, a little patience and restraint can lead to a much greater peace. Today, try letting go of one small desire and choose what truly matters more. Small restraint creates great joy. If one offers a small service to others, hoping to gain great merit from it, that misfortune returns upon oneself, and one becomes the object of much resentment. Helping others is in itself a precious thing, but when the desire for reward grows, its true meaning can fade. If we give a small help and expect a great return, disappointment and hurt feelings often follow. True kindness begins not from expecting something in return, but simply from a heart that gives because it can. A small kindness without conditions often brings greater peace to the mind. Today, try practicing one small act of kindness without expecting anything in return. A mind that does not seek reward often finds deeper peace. If one neglects what should be done and gladly does what should not be done, carelessly indulging in pleasure and idleness, bad habits will grow day by day. If we delay what must be done and only follow momentary pleasures, the balance of life can slowly begin to collapse. At first it may be small laziness, but when it repeats, it becomes a habit. Good habits begin with small actions, and bad habits also begin with small moments of carelessness. The small choices of today are what shape the life of tomorrow. Today, try to complete one task without putting it off. Small sincerity makes life strong and steady. Simply continue to make steady effort. Draw near to what is right and abandon what is wrong. By disciplining the body and awakening yourself, this is called a right habit. A good life is not made in a single day, but is built by many small efforts. The heart that seeks what is right and turns away from what is wrong sets the direction of life straight. To reflect on yourself and correct yourself little by little each day. This may be true practice, not something special, but daily repetition creates good habits. Today, with the intention to do even one thing better than yesterday, may you spend your day well. Steady effort creates a righteous life. Having cut off the ties of father and mother, having slain the 2 kings, having destroyed the kingdom and its ministers, the Brahmana is said to be free from the defilements of the mind. This teaching does not mean to harm one's parents or rulers, but is a metaphorical teaching about cutting off the afflictions of the mind. What is meant here are the inner obstacles, such as greed, attachment, and ignorance. What we truly need to cut off may not be our relationships with people, but the defilements within our own mind. When we lessen greed, let go of anger, and recognize ignorance, the mind gradually becomes clearer. Today, try quietly letting go of even one small desire within your heart. When we let go of afflictions, the mind becomes more free. Having cut off the ties of father and mother, having slain the 2 noble kings, having destroyed all the armies of the realm, the Brahmana is said to be free from the defilements of the mind. This teaching also does not mean to harm people, but is a metaphor for cutting off the afflictions within the mind. The enemy spoken of here is not someone outside, but the greed, anger, and ignorance within our own heart. When we struggle against these inner afflictions and overcome them, only then can the mind become clear. The hardest battle may not be the one against others, but the one against our own mind. Today, try to notice one thought that clouds your mind and quietly let it go. To conquer oneself is the greatest victory. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They think of the Buddha with one-pointed mind. To be awake does not mean not sleeping, but to continually watch the mind, so that it does not become clouded. When the mind is directed toward what is right, the direction of life naturally becomes right as well. To think of the Buddha means to hold the intention, to live according to his teachings, moment by moment. It is important to reflect on where our mind is heading. Today, even for a short while, quiet your mind and bring up one right thought. An awakened mind brightens life. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They keep the Buddha's teachings in their thoughts. To think of the Buddha's teachings does not mean only to recite the scriptures, but to hold the intention to practice them in daily life. The more often we reflect on right teachings, the more our mind grows in that direction as we live busy lives. It is easy to forget what truly matters. Even for a brief moment, just recalling a right thought can help the mind return to its proper place. Today, even for a short while, try to keep one right teaching in your heart. Right thoughts create a right life. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They think of the Buddha, they think of the Dharma, and they think of the Buddha's community. To always keep in mind the Buddha, the Dharma, and the community of practitioners is like a promise not to forget the right path. When we stay close to good teachings and think of those who walk the same path, our mind naturally becomes upright. A person is influenced by what they keep close to their heart. When we stay close to good thoughts, good teachings, and good companions, our life also becomes brighter. Today, try to bring to mind one good thought. That brightens your heart. A right mind shows the right path. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They reflect on the impermanence of the body. Our body does not remain forever, but slowly changes with the passing of time. Youth and health are not things to be taken for granted, but may only be temporary gifts. To understand the impermanence of the body is not to become sorrowful, but to live this present moment more fully. It is a teaching to not waste the time we are given, but to live it with meaning. Today, take a quiet moment to feel gratitude for your body and this day that you may have taken for granted. An awakened mind makes life deeper and more meaningful. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They delight in thoughts of compassion. A compassionate heart is not only for special people, but is a warm quality that anyone can practice. The wish to understand others. Small acts of consideration and kindness. These are the beginning of compassion. Compassion is not something grand, but begins with small actions in daily life. One warm word, one small act of yielding can make the world a little gentler. Today, may you share one kind word with someone around you. A compassionate heart brightens both ourselves and the world. The disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha are always awake with a clear mind, whether sleeping or awake. They enter meditation with one-pointed mind and delight in observing their own heart. Meditation means quieting the mind and looking deeply into one's own heart. There are times when looking within is more important than looking outside, even for a short while, to calmly settle the mind and reflect on our thoughts and feelings. Even that alone can help the mind gradually find stability. Today, try to make a small moment of quiet to look into your own heart. From a peaceful mind, true calm begins to grow. Learning is difficult, and abandoning wrongdoing is living at home is also difficult, and sharing benefits while living with others is also difficult. In the end, having this body is the most difficult of all. For a bhikkhu, wandering and begging for alms is difficult. How then could one not strive for oneself? If one practices diligently, things will naturally be gained. After that, there is nothing to seek from others. In life, there are not many things that are easily accomplished. Learning is difficult, correcting bad habits is difficult, and living together with others is not an easy task. That is why the heart that strives by itself is important, since no one else can do it for us. We must move forward, step by step on our own. If we continue to make steady effort, little by little, change will come. Today, even in a small matter, try to act with the intention to accomplish it by yourself. Steady effort is never in vain. If one has faith, one fulfills the precepts. By following the precepts, one gains many treasures. By this, one also gains many friends. And wherever one goes, one receives offerings. The treasures spoken of here may not be material wealth, but the trust and respect of others. A person who keeps faith and lives with right conduct naturally meets good connections and wins the hearts of others. A right mind and right actions become a great wealth that cannot be seen. Sincerity and honesty return as deeper trust as time goes by. Today, may you keep even one small promise with care. The accumulation of a right heart creates good relationships. If one stays close to the way, one's name naturally spreads far, like the snow upon a high mountain. If one turns away from the way, one becomes foolish and dark, like shooting an arrow in the middle of a dark night. A person who follows the right path does not need to show themselves, for their life itself naturally gives off light, like snow on a high mountain, quiet yet clear. It reveals itself in its own way. On the other hand, if we lose the right path, it is like walking in darkness, without direction. It may become a life that only spends effort, without knowing where it is going. Today, take a moment to reflect on whether the path you are walking is the right direction. Upon the right path, life becomes clearer, sitting in one place and lying in one place, acting with consistency without carelessness, guarding the one and keeping the body upright. Even while dwelling in the forest, the mind overflows with boundless joy. A person whose mind does not waver and who steadily guards themselves does not lose their peace. Wherever they may be, it is not the environment, but the attitude of the mind that determines happiness. Even without possessing many things, if the mind is upright, one can be at peace. Rather than seeking joy outside, it may be more important to set our own mind right. Today, try to keep even one thing right and steady in your heart. From a right mind, true joy begins to grow.